And we begin here. Relentless rains continue to batter parts of the Mopani District, leaving roads damaged, bridges washed away, and some communities completely cut off. Several schools in Limpopo have been unable to open for the 2026 academic year because pupils and teachers simply couldn't reach them. In Bolobedu, one of the hardest hit areas, residents are struggling to move around as roads crumble and access routes disappear. Authorities are assessing the situation on the ground and planning intervention as communities wait for relief. Let's get you the very latest on the ground. Bring in now SABC News reporter Katlego Nyoni, live to us from the Mopani District in Limpopo. And Katlego, you're standing near a river that's burst its banks, resembling what looks to be a scene from a movie, really.
And certainly this is the Molototi River behind me, cutting off two villages, community members in Muziloni, which is the site where I'm at the river bank, as well as behind me, Mamakata village, are unable to access either of the two areas. As you can see, there is also damage. This was a bridge, a low-lying bridge that was initially constructed to connect the two areas. However, as things stand from those disruptive rainfalls, the two communities are for now essentially cut off from one another. And you've mentioned also learners. We know that schooling has been suspended in large parts of the Mopani District, the Vembe District, some areas in the Sekhukhune District as well. I can certainly tell you that there are children here who have not been able to go to school after schools reopened yesterday. The Department of Coctas, the MEC, Basikopo Makamu, is going to enter just shortly into an emergency meeting in Giyani, which is where we reported from yesterday, to continue with government's interventions plans as they continue to assess the negative impact thereof of these floods. Let me bring in a local community leader here to talk to us about the current situation that our viewers are seeing behind me. SABC News. Bothata bo thomile neng?
Bothata bo thomile o tloela dipula tša dina, then masepala o bo re diretse bridge e nyane ba sa e dira botse re ntse re reporta gore ne ba tla ba e lokiše o fitlhela ge metsi a tla thoma o ntsha bridge ela a e fetsa a e ntsha ra bitsa ba masepala ba tlile 2 days later meyara o ba le mo a tlile o lebelela gore ne e ka ba ka thuša bjang. So o fitlhene ya bona ba ile ba lebella ba re tshepiša gore ba ka disa di-calvet tša o lekana je 3 o re beje 4 so that metsi a kgone go tsena ka mo fase kaofela o kgone go fediwa. Batho ba re tshepiša gore ne ba tla dira sewe immediately e bula e ema. So today ke no kwa siren e lla ba re batho kaofela ba tle ka mo nunukeni le nna ke tla ka mo ke kry-a batho ke yona ke kgona go bona bolena le mbitsa le rene ke ke tlhalose gore ne ke tseba bjang o fitlha bjang.
Ga le re meyara wa Mopani District Ntate Pule Shai ke ena na tlile mo go tlo le tlhalosetsa gore ba tlile go thusa ka seemo se ka tsela efe because ra bona gore le borogola mo le wele.
E ke ra meyara ke bolela ka Dakma Mamanyoa wa Greater Letaba Municipality o ba le mowe ke ena a re tshepišitše gore ne immediately pula ema o tla o lokiša.
Ba re ba palelwa ke go lokisa he pula e ntse e tswelela pele gona ba emetse gore pula e fetse gona gore ba kgone go lokisa.
Go bjalo ntate.
Lena le tsekwa bjang ka seo?
Rena re no kwa e le gore a ona ntho e re ka e dirago ka baka la gore dipula di ana le bana ba rena a ba sa ya sekoloni and then ebile a re sa tseba gore re ka dira bjang le balwetši ba re nao le bona ka mo ba palela ko ya lesepetlela gobana ona ba ba ka tshelago. Re be re re if maybe the municipality e ka kgona maybe e ka no re tlisetša a small plane ye ka kgona o tšea batho from that side e ba tlisa ka mositeng ba kgone go feta ba ya sekoloni le ba ya mošomong in the moment ba ntse ba lokiša tsela yewe ya rena e be plane e tla rola batho ka kwa e ba tlisa ka mo in the afternoon e ba tšea e ba bosetša ka kua.
Ke a leboga papa. Leina le sefane sa papa ke mang?
Phineas Travis Selepe.
Ra leboga Ntate Selepe. That's the community leader at Moziloni, Mr. Selepe, talking to us essentially that the mayor of the Greater Letaba area did indeed arrive in this community to assess the extent of the damage. However, they said to them that they can only be able to do any form of repairs of the construction damage once the rainfall subsides, and they're saying that they are essentially at the moment cut off. I'm going to step out of shot one more time just so you could get the extent of what we are seeing here. These are community members essentially cut off. They are neighboring communities, however they are cut off. What you see there submerged within the river, the flooded river, was a bridge that used to link these two communities. However, as things stand, they are currently not able to move between the two villages, essentially saying also that they would like assistance. However, the South African Weather Service only reports that rainfall, precipitation volumes in this area in Mopani and elsewhere in the northern eastern part of Limpopo will only start to subside over the coming weekend, in particular on Saturday. Ayanda?
Gee, Katlego, these are extraordinary visuals that you're beaming to us. Help us get a sense of the extent to which the village on the other side of the banks where you're standing has any access to essentials, for example, in the case of an emergency.
Certainly, the department, the Mopani District municipality essentially is saying that they are going to deploy rescue workers. Some have already been deployed in areas where there have been reports of houses that have collapsed, and that they are going to start basically doing evacuation procedures. Although the number of households that have reportedly collapsed is not many at this particular stage, and we don't have those statistics yet, as an assessment is still being conducted. However, there have been instances where evacuation procedures were conducted. The Mopani District municipality also reports that there have not been any fatality. We've seen also visuals of people being rescued from flooded streams as well as rivers. So this is a clear indication that there are emergency workers, disaster workers that are currently on the ground conducting rescues as well as evacuation procedures. We are going to move to a next location where we'll bring you more visuals as this story develops. Ayanda?